Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, as expected, classes will be on online mode because of the COVID scenario. So, we'll continue in online mode. No issue. Okay. My screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. This is for. Oh, this is for CSE or IT. Yeah. In the last class, I already introduced how to write the program, how to write input-output statement like scanner bit printf, right? Sorry. So let us go to the data type. So C is a strictly type-defined language. Okay, C is strictly type-defined language. Okay. So that means you need to strictly follow the data types, which type of data you are using. There are some languages like Python which does not follow any strict data types. So depending on the input output data type you can choose. But in case of C, you need to define the type of data you are using. So you can broadly classify the data type into categories like fundamental data type, fundamental data type. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Fundamental
sir.
data type, derived data type, and user-defined data type. So broadly, you can classify the data type into three categories. Okay, user-defined data type. So fundamental data type, again, you can have different fundamental data type. Fundamental data type. You can have different fundamental data type like you can have character. The keyword used for character is char. Then integer. Int keyword is used for integer to specify the integer type. Then float. Then double. Then void. These are the five fundamental data type. Okay. So character data basically take 1 byte of space. 1 byte of space. Integer data take 4 byte of space. Float takes 4 byte of space. Double take 8 byte of space. Void is a generic type. It's a generic type. You can convert void data type to any other type depending on your requirement. Okay. So I think we have already discussed, right, regarding character, how the character will be represented in computer with the help of ASCII. Integer 4 bytes representations, I discussed how positive numbers will be represented, negative will be represented. Float I have discussed, single precision floating point format, double precision floating point format, everything I have discussed. So void is a generic type. Right now, actually, as a beginner, you will not use void data type anywhere. You will use void for null value, but void can be used for generic data type. So void has two uses. One is for null purpose. If you don't want to return anything from a function, you can use void. Void means empty. Another is void can be used as a generic data type. Maybe in future, if time permit, we'll discuss about the generic types. Okay, fine, or any issue. Now, there are some modifiers on this fundamental data type, modifiers. Like integer, you can have short integer or long integer or unsigned character like this. Sorry, unsigned integer. So you got it. Short integers, so basically take 2 byte of space. Long integer, you can go up to 8 bytes. Okay. And unsigned integer means there is no positive and negative value. Only positive value will consider. That means there is no sign. So if you are having 4 bytes unsigned integers, then the ranges will be from 0 to 2 to the power 32 minus 1. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
In case of
Yes, sir.
integer, what is the range? Range I discussed, right? 2 to the power minus 30. Sorry. Minus 2 to the power 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1, right? This is the range. For normal integer or signed integer, you can say. But for unsigned integer, the range is from 0 to 2 to the 32 minus 1. Why? Why the difference?
Unsigned.
Because here both negative and positive will be there, but here only
positive.
Only positive. There is no sign. You can take 32 bits 0. Number will vary from like this way. This is equivalent to 0, and it will continue up to polar 1. And that is equivalent to 2 to the 32 minus 1. Whatever it may be. Okay. But short integer and long integer are both negative as well as positive. That means here the value will lie between minus 2 to the power 15 to 2 to the power 15 minus 1. Here the value will lie between minus 2 to the power, tell me, 63 to 2 to the power 63 minus 1. Is that clear? So
Sir, in unsigned bit 0 to 2 power 31 minus 1 girls. 0 to 2 power 31 minus 1 girl.
No, 2 to the 32. 2 to the
mean 2
32.
power n minus 1 minus.
No, you take the binary equivalent of this. That's why I have written here. How many ones are there? 32 ones are there. 32 ones means value is 2 to the 32 minus 1. No? If you have 4 ones, what is the value? 2 to the power 4 minus 1. No? Got it?
Okay, sir.
If you have 4 ones, then what is the value? 2 to the power 4
16.
minus 1. Same thing. Okay, so you can see the modifiers here. These are called modifiers: short, long, unsigned. So they are also coming under the fundamental data type. So major fundamental data type are 5 types: character, integer, float, double. But on top of that, you can use the modifier like short, long, unsigned. Similarly, in case of character, also unsigned character you can use. Okay, like that. Unsigned character. This is also visible. Okay. Yeah. So apart from these fundamental data types, so here, what is the job of the data type? It specifies the type of data you are using in your program. Okay. It specifies the type of data you are using in your program. Okay. Now, apart from this fundamental data type, you have derived data type, which we will discuss later. Derived data type. So you can derive some data type from this fundamental data type. Like derived data types are array. Array is a derived data types. Pointer is a derived data type. So we will discuss this array pointer down the line. So array means so if you will take a variable declaration statement. So before using a variable in a program, okay, before using a variable in a program, you can you need to declare the variable. Let's say I want to declare a variable of type integer. So int a. Okay, int a. Here a is a variable of type integer. I will tell what is variable, what is constant. I will tell just now after this data type. So for the timing, let's say we need derived data type. We need to understand the derived data type. That's why I'm giving this example. So in a variable declaration statement, a is a variable of type integer. You declare it like this way. So array is a derived data type. Either you can derive it from the fundamental data type integer or float or double or characters. So if you are writing char ch10, so this is an array. So this derived data type is derived from the fundamental data type character. So when I am writing chrc, so c is a single character of data type char, but here ch is a array of characters, array of 10 characters. So this is fundamental and this is derived. Is that clear? Similarly, in case of pointer, so if I am writing integer x, so x is a variable of type integers. So integer is fundamental data type. But when you are writing integer star x, so x is a pointer. Now x is a pointer variable, and it is derived from the fundamental data type integer. So I am calling it as an integer pointer. Got it?
Sir, what does
Yes,
indicate
sir.
its star?
Where
What does indicate star x?
star indicates that x is a pointer variable, or it's a derived data type. So it's a pointer variable. Star signifies the pointer variable. Actually, star has multiple meanings. Some place we will use star as a multiplication operator, but here star indicates the pointer variables. Okay. So when we will discuss pointer, we will go to this. We'll discuss this in details. Okay. For the timing, you just understand what do you mean by derived data type. So you have fundamental data type integer, and you can declare a variable of type integer like this way. The same thing you can do you can derive a pointer variable from integer fundamental data type, and you can declare it like this way. And array also similarly you can derive from the fundamental data type. So you have integer, character, float, double. So you may have integer pointer, character pointer, float pointer, double pointer. Okay, you can derive from fundamental. Yes. Okay. Now the third category is what? The third category is the user-defined data type, right? Third one is the user-defined data type. User-defined data type. User-defined means the programmer will define the data type. It is not invented. Programmer will define data type. So popular user-defined data type are structure, struct, and union. Okay. Struct, union. A class is also user-defined, but class usually used in C++. In C, we use struct and union. Okay. So I can define a structure like this way: struct student. Then char name. Integer ID, let's say. Okay, so a new data type. Name of the data type is struct student. So, like integer variable, you are declaring a variable of type integer x like this way. X is the variable of type integer. Similarly, you can declare a structure variable. So, struct student. This one. Just compare these two. What is the data type here? Integer. What is the data type here? Struct student. Here the variable is x, here the variable is s1. So this struct student is a new data type. And who defined this data type? We have defined. The programmer is defined or the user is defined. Is that clear? Why structure is called user defined data type?
Sir,
Yes.
No, sir. Once explain again.
See,
sir, in struct, S is capital or small?
small.
Okay.
Sir, once again, sir.
See, actually some data type are already there, which are fundamental. Then from fundamental, you can have derived data type like array and pointer. And some data type you can define by yourself depending on your requirement. So here, what I am doing with the help of structure concept, I am defining a structure data type, struct student. So this data type I can use similarly as like integer data type. So when you want to create a variable of type integer, you write it like this way, integer x. So similarly, s1 is a variable here, which is of type struct student. So this is the data type. So this data type is not there in the compiler. Okay, so you are defining this. How you are defining this is the definition of structure definition. So details don't go right now. I will discuss that in detail when we will come to the structure. But you understand the concept. Concept is that here a new data type we are defining. We are writing the definition of the new data type and then using the data type to declare the variable. Okay. So that's why it is called user-defined data type. 1 second.
Sir, can you explain after char name 20 in array, what is the next statement? And after curly braces, is there a semicolon?
See, here char is a fundamental data type, integer is a fundamental data type, and these are the members of data type struct student, structure members. So don't go to that right now, I am telling. So we'll discuss that when we'll come to the structures. You understand the concept. What do you mean by user-defined data type? User-defined data type means a new data type whose definition you are defining. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. But is that a semicolon beside the curly braces?
This here,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it will be there.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, fine. So three type of data types. Actually, one term we highly required is what is variable and what is constant. Actually, here also I am using the term variable. Let me come to that first. Okay, data type. Any further query you can ask me later when we will solve the numericals or solve the programs or sort type questions. Constant and variable, right? Constant and variables. Yeah, constant and variable in C. Constants and variables. The name itself suggests, right? Constant means what? Value is fixed, right? Value is fixed. You cannot alter the value. Okay, constant value you cannot alter. So you have different type of constant. You can have integer constant, int constant. You can have character constant. You can have real constant. You can have integer constant, character constant. You can have real constant, integer, character, real, or you can have string constant. So these are the different type of constant. Okay. So integer constant means integer value -3, 7, 24, zeros. These are all integer values. You can use this value as constant. Okay. Fixed value -3 means -3. -3 does not mean -4 or 3, anything else. Character constant, any character, hash, dollar, column. So usually character we write in the single quote. A1. These are all characters. Character constant. Real constant means 3.42 -9.71. These are all real numbers. 0, -40.9, and so on. And string means a sequence of characters. Hello. Hello is a constant. Hi is a constant. How are you? Is a constant. You understood? So you cannot change these values. So hello means hello. Hello means not hi. Or hi means not hello. They have fixed meaning. Yes or no?
Sir, one will be in character or in integer? How will we differentiate? One in character, one whether it is character or integer, how will we differentiate?
Yeah, see the difference? One, this is one within single quote.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And one,
Sir, in real and integer?
one in the double quote is string.
No, sir, in with real numbers and integer numbers, how can we differentiate?
One means 1.0.
So there will be for 0 also it should be 0.0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. Then what is variable? Variable means it value vary throughout the execution of the program. That's why the name is variable. Here the value remain fixed in the entire execution of the program. Value remain fixed during the execution of the program. Execution of the program. But here the variable, the value may vary throughout the execution of the program. Value of the variable may vary during the execution of the program. Okay. So how the how the variable you need to declare the variable. Okay, variable declarations. Which type of variable you want? A variable can hold a value depending on which type of value you want to hold. So accordingly, you need to declare the variable. Okay. So you need to have a data type, then variable name. This is how you can declare the variable, then a semicolon. Okay. So for example, if you want to hold integer value, then you can use the data type integer x. Here it means x is a variable. X is a variable of type. Which type? Integer. Is that clear? X is a variable of type integer. So when you are declaring this, it means in the memory. This is your memory. A space is created in the name x. And what value you can put here? Can anyone tell me which type of value or which type of data you can put here? Integer data. Only
Integer.
Okay, because C is strictly type defined language I am telling now. So you are specifying the type of data or type of variable is x. X is of type integer. And x can hold only integer values. And it is why it is variable. You can put 10 and after sometimes you can put 10. Then when you are putting x equal to 20, what will happen? 10 will be replaced by 20. The old value will be replaced by the new value. If now you are putting x equal to 30, what will happen? 20 will be replaced by 30. So during the execution of the program, you can keep any value which you want inside the x. Inside the x. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or if you are writing character, let's say character ch. So here a space will be created in the name of character ch. So 1 byte of data. So ch you can keep anything. You can keep x. You can keep 1. Whatever you are putting in ch accordingly. So initially it was x. Now you are replacing it to 1. So variable you need to declare. Once it is declared, you can use it. Okay. So here, this operator, I'll come to the operator next. This is called assignment operator. Okay. Assignment operator. So why it is called assignment operator? Because you are assigning the value 10 in the variable x. It goes from right to left, right? 20 is assigned to x. Is that clear? Assignment.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not
Sir,
equality.
please once
Yes,
again.
sir.
Okay, this is not equality, this is assignment. And one thing is variable name. So you should know what is variable name. Variable name, you just remember that. Variable name I told you. Variable name. This must be a valid identifier. Okay, identifier is a token I told in my last class. So it must be a valid identifier. Valid identifier means you can give any name with certain constant. Valid. So identifier is used as the name of the variable or name of the functions. So here I am talking about the name of the variable. So valid identifier has some constant like the past character must be an alphabet or underscore. Okay, then You can use alphabet, digits, and underscore in the variable name. Use you can use alphabets, digits, or underscore. Okay. So let's say I am writing num. Is this a valid variable name or valid identifier?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Underscore x0. Is this a valid identifier?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Underscore you can start. 1x2. Is this a valid identifier?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Hello world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is this a valid identifier?
Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
Yes,
sir.
No, sir, there's a space.
No, sir.
Why
No,
is
sir.
space in between? Okay, space is not allowed. Only alphabet, digits, and underscore can be used. Okay, yeah, fine. Same for the function name. So, yeah, the constant and variables you understood, data type you understood. Okay, so here data types are used for declaring the variables, right? Which type of variables you want to use in your program, or which type of value you want to keep in the variable. Depending on that, you choose the appropriate data type. Okay. Hello. Your classes actually not announced anything whether online or offline. Madam took the class today. No, actually, I am taking the first semester class now. Okay, maybe then maybe I will take the. You can go now. I will take the class online. Okay, online it will be quickly completed. Okay. So I'll announce now only. Okay, date and time today. Today definitely I will take one class. Okay. Online. Okay. Okay. Fine. Sorry. So, yeah, let us continue. Okay. If any queries will come, we'll handle it later on. Okay. Let's continue. So, next thing we are going to discuss is your operators. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So operators in C. So C basically supports various operators. So operators are used to write expression, right? So A plus B. So if you are writing A plus B, so this is an expression. Which type of expression? Arithmetic expression, you can say arithmetic. Because you are performing arithmetic operation here, arithmetic expressions. And A and B are called operands. And this is called operator. Clear? Where the operator come? So plus is the operator. It's a arithmetic. Which type of operator again? Arithmetic operator. And A, B are operands. Okay. So you are writing x equal to 5. So this is an expression. This is an expression. So here the operands are x and 5. These are operands. And what is this? This is operator.
Operator.
Which type of operator? Assignment operator.
Assignment.
Assignment on.
And this is plus is arithmetic operator. So in an expression, actually operands and operators are there. Okay. So some operators can consider only one operand. Some may consider two operand. Some may consider more than two operands, three operands. Okay. So there are various type of operators. First we'll discuss the type of operators, then depending on the number of operands also we can classify the operators. Okay. Type of operators. Type of operators. So what are the type of operators? You have, first one is the arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators include plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulo division. These are arithmetic operators. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I hope all of you know plus, minus, star, division, and modulo division. Plus, star, multiplication, no issue. These three very straightforward. 3 plus 5 equal to 8, right? And 3.0 plus 5.0 also equal to 8.0. No issue, no difference. Same for minus, multiplication, everything. But these two are very specials. Division and modulo division. This is called division operator, and this is called modulo division. Modulo division. These are very special. Division and modulo division. Clear? So it depends on the operands. This depends, result depends on operands. Result depends on operands. Clear? So modulo is applicable for integer operator only. Integer operand. Applicable for integer operands. Okay. Let's say I am writing 3 by 5. What is the result?
0, 0.
3.0 by 5.
3.0 by 5 is 0.
0.6.
Acha, 0.6.
Okay. So I told the result depends on the operand. So if both operands are integer, then integer operation will take place, or integer arithmetic will take place. If one of the operand is real, then real arithmetic will take place. Okay, integer arithmetic or real arithmetic, depending on the operands. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, 3 by 5, sorry, 3 modulo division 5. 3.0 modulo division 5 does not have any meaning because modulo division is applicable for integer operands only. And the result is
0. 3.
So modulo division give the remainder and division give the quotient. Quotient and remainder. So for example, 45 by 10. Result is what? 4. And 45 modulo division 10. Result is
5.
5.
yeah. So actually, when both operands are of same type, then no issue. If mixed data type are there, here mixed data type na real number integer. In case of mixed type, then implicit type conversion takes place. Implicit type conversion takes place in case of mixed operands. मतलब convert to higher type. convert to higher type. Convert to higher type, you understood? मतलब character will be converted to integer. Integer will be converted to float. This is how the conversion takes place. Any doubt in this? So I have given the example 3.0 divided by 5. Mixed type. This is what? Plot or real? This is plot.
Integer.
Real. So here 3.0 divided by 5.0. So 5 is implicitly converted into 5.0. Both are real now, then a result is 0.6 real. Integer converted to real.
Sir, excuse me,
Yes.
sir. Sir, what will be, sir, if we perform the operation 49 divided by 10, then it will be 4 or 5?
49 divided by
10.
4.
49 divided by 10 is 4. What's wrong?
Okay.
Okay. So it will not round up. Round up is different thing. Okay. Here we are taking the quotient or integral part. Whatever result you are getting, we are taking the integral part in the division.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So actually we should write some program also parallelly. So can you write a program quickly? Write a program to input a real number and print integral part and fractional part. Can you write a program? So if input is, let's say 27.93, output क्या होगा आपका? 27.93. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So how to write the program?
int in bracket 27.93 and 27.93 minus int 27.93.
Yeah, explicit type conversion you want to do. Okay. So somebody is telling me whatever he told, let me write down. He's telling me first you need to, and to take some integer, you need to declare some variable, right? Dot x and f is the fractional part and integer d is the integral part. Okay, then he's asking to take an integer, scanf percentile f. Right, this is how you can enter the value x. Then he's telling that. So what was your answer? Tell me once again.
D equal to int x, f equal to x minus int x.
And
Int in bracket.
this is wrong. This one.
Yes, sir.
And f equal to x minus t. And printf. That's what your answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all of you are convinced. Actually, I hope you right now you understand these two. These two are what? Variable declarations, right? Variable declaration. And we are declaring the variable. This is what? Input. And these are what? Output. So the main part of the program is here. Where his solution is coming. Any doubt in this? Printf, input, output, variable declaration, please tell me. All statement must end with a semicolon. All this variable declaration, input statement, output statement. Then I already mentioned how to take input, how to produce response. This is a new line. I want to separate these two output by a new line. Any queries? So it will see the memory.
Sir, in the format in the syntax of printf, after writing an integer, we can't include a we can't include double quotes and a string, formatted string.
Printf.
In printf, the first printf statement, printf modulus d, comma d, after printing an integer, we can't include a formatted string after that.
Yeah.
No, sir, after a comma d,
No.
the integer.
No. That is not allowed. The syntax is what? Formatted string, whatever you want to put, you can put here. And after that, only comma. After comma, put a comma, then list of arguments. Nothing else. No string will be
So,
there. String in the form of argument only.
So we can, if it's not compulsory to put a formatted string, right? We can also just put d. Just a question about syntax.
See, if you want to print any variable, d is a variable, f is a variable, then the formatted string must. Without formatted string, you cannot print any variable. If you want to print
we can
variable,
print.
the type specifier must be there.
Okay, sir, but we can print a formatted string without the variable?
If you are printing like this way, it means d is a string.
Yes, sir.
D is not a variable. Okay.
So we can use it that way. We can put a formatted string only and the syntax is right.
Only, no, this is also wrong. Na? If you are writing %d, then that is wrong. Na?
No, sir, just without modulus, only d, or any just string hello.
Printf only d, you are telling. D like this.
No, sir, only a string hello.
Yeah, that is same as d. Na? D is a string.
Yes, sir, that is
hello,
allowed.
X, Y, Z, whatever. That is allowed. No issue. But here our intention is to print the variables. Na? Variables you cannot print without.
I just wanted to ask about the syntax.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Come to the logic. His logic is that when you are declaring the variables, so space will be created in the name X, F, and D. Then this is the input statement. User entered some value. Let's say 23.905. User entered. Clear? Then what he does, he uses a explicit. This is called explicit type conversion. Explicit type conversion. I am talking about the implicit type conversion. Have you marked down? Implicit type conversion. But he is doing here what? Explicit type conversions. Explicitly specifying, I want to convert it into integer type. Implicit, it will always be converted into higher type, but explicitly you can convert it into lower type. So here what you are doing, you are converting higher type. X is higher type, yes or no? Float is higher than integer. Higher type to lower type conversion he is doing. Float to integer. So when you are converting to higher type to lower type, some data loss will be there. What is the loss here? Loss is the fractional part. Only integrated part will remain. So D takes only the value 23. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
In case of implicit conversion, lower type will be converted to higher type. So there will be no data loss. But in case of explicit type conversion, either you can convert from lower to higher or higher to lower. Both way you can move. But here, if you are converting from higher type to lower type, then data loss will be there. So in this case, the data loss is the fractional part is lost by this explicit type conversion. Then f equal to what? X minus t. X is this one and t is. So which type of type conversion will take place here in this case? Can anyone tell me? When you are performing
Implicit type conversion.
implicit type conversion. So 23 is integer, it will be converted into real. You are doing what? 23.905 minus 23. So this is real, this is integer. So integer will be converted to real. How? By putting a decimal point. Then do the subtraction, result will be real only and the value will be 0.905. So you are getting the correct answer.
Sir, when does implicit type conversion happen and when explicit?
Implicit means whenever you are mixed. I have written the clear statement here. Implicit type conversion takes place in case of mixed operands. Matlab, two operands are involved in most of the operator, because I will come to that. Unary operator, binary operator, ternary operator. In case of binary operator, what happened? Most of the operation you perform on binary operators. In case of binary operators, if mixed operands will be there, then implicit type conversion takes place. Lower to higher conversions. And explicit, you need to explicitly specify. Okay, when means no answer. Whenever you need or whenever you require some answer, then you explicitly mention. Even in place of these two lines, someone can write simply like this also. D equal to F, F equal to X minus T. Both will, this also give the correct answer, correct output. Why? Tell me how. This also give the correct answer. No need to write INTX.
Because here implicit
We mention integer D.
D is integer, it is specified.
D is integer.
So in the memory, when you are space creating for D, which type of value you can put here?
Integer type.
Integer. But X is what? Real 23.905. Okay. So automatically it is capable of storing only 23. The fractional part it cannot store. So here you can say an exception from higher to lower conversion is taking place. Okay, higher to lower conversions when you are assigning the value. And here also implicit type conversion will take place and F will take the value 0.905 or 0.905. Yeah. So next class we'll continue with this. Few more type of operators. We have discussed only the arithmetic. Then you have logical operator, relational operators, bitwise operators. So many different type of operators are there. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay, you write this small program in your laptop if you have installed code blocks and see the result.
Okay, sir.
Fine. You can leave now. Attendance, I hope all are present. Let me see once. 62. 62 means 8 students are absent, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you voluntarily tell who are absent? Okay, I don't have the attendance sheet right now with me also now. Otherwise, I just want to verify those who have not yet come to the